Welcome to Scrap Talk, your inside look from three outsiders of combat sports, where we aren't experts but will give you our opinions, like we are anyway.
Hello and welcome to it. We're back with Scrap Talk episode, I think this is 11. Kind of a big deal.
11? That feels like, I can't believe we've already got 11 of these.
Yeah, that's what I think it's 11 plus our
More because of the sample ones we did at the very beginning.
Yeah, we're on like 13 or 14.
Maybe in the future we can talk y'all in, or you can talk us into releasing those as some kind of giveaway.
They weren't that bad actually. We were learning those, so that's why we didn't release them.
Oh, we should start this again with Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner. It's a good time to be in Oklahoma lately with football.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to get a bunch of turkey this weekend, so it's a good time.
So, yes, Thanksgiving coming up. And you know what I'm most thankful for, Lo?
Dressing.
No. Scotty's not here again today.
Again, and it's started to become a problem, Scotty.
So, episode 11 will be episode 2 for Scotty, or 30.
No, in all seriousness, I think, didn't he say you had to go somewhere for work or something? No, it's his Thanksgiving stuff, I think.
I think he was taking the family on a spelunking in Arkansas.
Yeah, well, Derek and I told our families that this is the most important thing.
What's more important, family or our fans, our legions of fans? And we set the fans number one.
And we set the rules. Dude, was this the best card of the year this past weekend?
I don't know about the year, but it was a really, really, really good card. It was a best free card, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, but best free.
It's better than, we'll talk about later, but it's better than the pay-per-view coming up.
Yeah, well,
just there's no title fights. It was a better card.
Oh, from top to bottom, man.
Yes.
And it performed. It literally.
Prelims were good. Well, mostly.
It was so good.
The main card, though, awesome. I do want to talk about the first fight of the night. I guess I had some hype for Denzel Freeman. I'm always excited when there's a new heavyweight coming in. He has a really high wrestling pedigree. And that fight was so boring. I don't know if you watched it, but it was so bad. He was celebrating. He wanted a decision. Like, it almost, there was a Kevin Jordan fight years ago. And then there was an Ngannou, Derek Lewis fight. And Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock. Those fights, it rivaled those fights of nothing happening. Like, they said their strike total was like, 30 apiece. 28 of those had to have been leg kicks. Yeah. And they weren't like booming leg kicks. They were just like flicking them out there. And
that could happen with heavyweights, man.
Well,
it can happen for a number of reasons with heavyweights.
They weren't gassed out. They didn't do anything.
Remember Francis and Derek Lewis?
At least they both have devastating power and had something to worry about. I don't know about this one. I hope they both get cut. Like, I had high hopes, and I just hope they get rid of both of them.
I thought it was funny that, because this was in the afternoon, obviously it was on the other side of the world. It was in Qatar, right?
Yeah, it was in Qatar.
So it was in the middle of the day for us. And you had texted me at one point saying something about these first two fights, man, they're so bad. And what was funny is that that time we were like almost through the whole card. I think maybe I was behind you. And as most people know, they delivered. I mean, there was knockout, submission.
Yeah, one after another.
So I just kind of laughed because it was like, yeah, those first two fights, but get ready, buddy, because you're in for a ride.
Yeah, well, I just know I haven't been that lit down. I don't know why I was excited for Freeman. I just, heavyweight American wrestler. Some new blood in that division I thought would have been good, but I hope they cut him. And then
real quick,
Ismail Nardev. That's one I would like to bring up real quick. He
against Ryan Loder.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was watching that one and he would move forward and I'd see Loder's hands every time drop back. And I just made the comment. I said, he is about to knock him out with an overhand because he keeps dropping his hands. And then as soon as I said it, bam, knocked him out. Just like it. I mean, you couldn't, but you set it up good. I mean, he watched what he was doing. He reacted how he's supposed to. Loder's a good grappler. Yeah, he's not. That dude obviously needs to go to a boxing gym because I've never seen somebody drop their hands repeatedly like that at this level of fighting.
But maybe for a quick first round knockout on that one.
Yes.
The very next fight, though, I mean, we didn't talk much about this, and we probably should have looking back at it, but it's Ilia Toporia's brother.
Yeah.
He looked all of it.
So, and he fought Bekzat, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And that dude's no joke.
No. That's a tough fight.
He won. I thought he won all 3 rounds. One judge, I think, gave the Bekzat a round.
Yep. It was 30-27.
I think the first round was fairly close. But Toporia's striking looks Very good.
Honestly, and this is going to sound kind of ridiculous, he looks just like Taporia, but just jacked.
Yeah, and he's small, but he's smaller.
But as far as his body and how he's built, man, he looks like he would be way stronger. And I don't know. I don't know much about him.
I mean, I don't know how he makes bantamweight, because he is a big fella for bantamweight. And he had a very good gas tank. His striking looked good. His grappling looked good.
He might be someone.
He timed his takedown so good. Like, you are correct. That is somebody.
But I mean, might be someone to look at. I don't know. You know, there's not a whole lot about him right now, just because of Taporia, and you know, it's well known that both of them kind of had a quote unquote privileged upbringing. I would say they're not your normal, you know, in the streets type MMA fighter that's having to make it. So because of that, I think most of his training and upbringing probably is going to be a little bit more shielded than if normally. So he might be someone to really keep a reminder on.
Has he fought in the UFC before?
I don't think so. I think that was his. I mean, now maybe he fought on the Dana White Contender Series. Maybe
I'll have to look.
I feel like maybe that.
Look that up real quick.
I can't, because you can't. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's not even enough on him to be able to see stuff on.
Oh, okay.
So, or at least easily. I'm sure if I researched it, I could find that. I think he might have been on Dana White's Contender Series. I think.
Well, he looks sharp, and that's somebody. Bantamweight's not a deep division.
And he'll get a good fight, a decent fight.
I was going to say, he's 2 fights away from a title fight if he looks like that.
And, you know, heck, they could even put him on his brother's cards.
Yeah.
I mean,
just the name alone, if he looks sharp, he's going to move towards a title fight immediately.
I'm sure Taporia is going to have one of the big first cards at the beginning of the year. We've talked about that multiple times. I mean, throw him right there. He didn't really take much damage in the fight. So you throw him in that next fight in January, February, and then he's off to the races for next year.
And
we ever had brothers?
Yeah.
Had brothers at the same time?
At the same time?
Yeah.
No. Not at the same time. No.
It's kind of interesting. That might be fun to see if they could chase.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. I didn't even think about that.
See?
Another fight on the prelims, Abdul Rahman Yakayev. So, against Rafael Sakaria, I think. Well, anyway, because Sakaria, if I'm pronouncing it right, Brazilian guy, he's not a bad fighter. He's decent. And he's been in the UFC. This is like his, 4th or 5th fight in the UFC. I mean, and Abdul, I think this is his first fight in the UFC. And Abdul, I don't know if you watched this one, he literally showcased the most amazing showcase for a 30-second fight ever.
It's crazy.
So he started...
Light heavyweight card, light heavyweight.
Yeah, it's light heavyweight. This dude, mark my words, is going to be a champion of the UFC. Okay. Like, soon. Okay. So the fight starts, he throws a very, very fast spinning heel kick. And grazes lands. But as it lands, he throws a hook and hurts him. And then he grabs him and picks him up and like suplexes him and then takes his back and chokes him.
Yeah.
All in 30 seconds, he showed his striking ability was good. He showed he can grapple or wrestle, and he showed he can grapple on the ground. And all in 30 seconds, he made it look so easy too.
Man, it's really impressive at this level when you get a rear naked submission choke in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Anybody can land a punch and get a quick knockout in 30 seconds. But
like he hurt him, he took him down, choked him. He literally did everything you could do positive in a fight.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds. And that spinning wheel kick was so fast for a big dude.
And right off the bat, like literally at the start.
He's a Chechen guy. All those Chechens and Dagestanis. It's going to be like the ultimate Dagestani Chechen championship before long, because they are freaking dominating.
That's what we need to do at the White House card. We got WWE War Games coming up soon in San Diego. We need to have like USA versus Chechnya War Games. I don't want to every single fight American versus Chechnya.
I don't want to lose all 9-0.
Probably would lose all of them.
So, yeah, I think we would. And but mark my words, that dude is something. And
I'm excited about that thing. I love watching up and comers. I like the rise. That's kind of one of my favorite things to watch.
Yes, well that dude's one to keep your
light heavyweight. That's one of my favorite divisions.
Yes,
I think it's kind of the sweet spot.
You need to go if you haven't watched it. Like, you got to go watch. That dude is impressive.
Well, we've been talking. I mean, that division's better too than it has.
Yes,
like at least in the near
all I'm saying is I don't think I've seen a small sample of him, but I would put him to knock out guys like Volkan Ozdemir easily.
Okay.
Like, I would put him against him now to beat him.
Tease from later on.
Yes. So we can move to the main card. What do you think about Hiraguchi coming back?
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
No.
And you and I have both talked like a couple of times before we recorded, like, why? I think you texted me before. We talked about it before today.
We had talked about it, but we didn't talk about it on here for some reason.
Well, first off, it was a nasty rear naked choke.
And he looked great.
I mean, he dominated the inside. So it was a unanimous, 30-27 fight if that choke wouldn't have been in.
So Kyoji Horiguchi, I don't know if people don't know, he fought in the UFC. He was 7-1 in the UFC. His one loss was to Mighty Mouse when he fought Demetrius Johnson for the title at flyweight.
Which, come on.
But he,
You know what I mean?
He gave Demetrius Johnson time.
Maybe one of the best fights that Demetrius ever had, especially during that period of time when everybody was thinking Mighty Mouse was Mighty Mouse.
Yes.
Like, it's prime.
He loses that fight, then he wins like 3 more. So his record in the UFC was like 7-1. For some reason, he decides, I don't want to fight in the UFC no more. Goes to Bellator and Ryzen, and he was a double champion. He was a Ryzen champion and a Bellator champion at the same time. And he had lost a few fights in Ryzen, and I think even in Bellator, he had lost a couple, though. And then he got on a run, won some titles, came back to the UFC, and he fought Tajir Ulanbekov, another Dagestani, one of Islam Makhachev's, one of his proteges, a ranked fighter, in your return fight to the UFC. We discussed the guys, kind of coming in here from other organizations and not looking great. Well, Tajir is a very, very good wrestler, and he couldn't take him down. He was getting lit up on the feet, and then he got choked. I mean, I was so impressed, and that's good to have some good new blood in the flyweight division.
Absolutely.
Because I think he's one fight away from it. I think you can give him a title fight now.
Well, he got that performance. He got performance of the night. I mean, he won that. And, if you go back into that, and I know you talked about it, but kind of glazed over it, his last fight that he actually had with Ryzen was against Sergio Pettis. He had Ryzen 47. He won by unanimous decision. So, I mean, even though he was stepped away, he's still beating quality guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people don't watch, but Ryzen's a very good company.
Oh, absolutely.
And they have a lot of good fighters. And they were kind of going to be where Pride kind of tried taking back over that. They never got to that level, but it's a really good show. They have top level guys. And he beat a really tough guy in this fight back. And he called out, I think it's Pandoja.
Yeah, I mean, he's a champion. But
they're training teammates, right?
Yeah.
He called him out, and he's like, I don't care. We're friends in the gym, but I'll fight him.
So Pantoja's already scheduled to fight Joshua Van. That's the card at the very end of the year, obviously. That's champion versus number 1. I mean, winner of that, arguably, I think we both probably is going to pick, surprise, Pantoja. We'll see in the future. But winner of that against him now here, that'd be good.
Yeah,
I'd be good with that.
It's got to be the Titan fight.
I mean, technically he's jumping ahead. He's, I think, ranked 8th now, I think, after that. But, I mean, there's not really anybody in between. Now, and the ones that are in between, even at that, you got Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royale. They've already been there. They've had their chance multiple times.
4 times with all of them.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Horiguchi's now 8-1 in the UFC. Been champ in 2 major organizations outside the UFC. That's the fight to make.
Tim Elliott's still hanging on to the division, too.
Hey,
trying.
Tim Elliott, man, that dude's no easy out.
No, I know, and he never has been. He's still hanging on. Dude, Waldo Cortez Acosta, is this someone that we need to, really pick on? Remember this guy? Is that something?
His striking doesn't look great to me, but he keeps knocking guys out.
He's entertaining, and he talks the talk. I mean, 14 days, I think? So he fought 14 days before. Right? I mean, last week, originally, who was the original fight? It was Gazev versus... I
can't remember who he was supposed to fight. We picked Shamil because he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, but had to pull out. They called Waldo. Waldo took the fight. Shamil took the fight. Props to both of them. You got to give props to people that take fights last minute like that.
It was very last minute.
And then he came in and knocked him out in the first round.
And very quickly, a minute.
And he wants to fight again.
And it was a brutal round.
And he wants to fight again.
He said he wants to fight December 13th.
I mean, that's the heavyweight division. We need people like that.
If he wins December 13th, you got to almost consider starting to give that guy at least a number 1 contender fight.
I don't think that he'll fight December 13th.
If he does and wins, you've got to give him a number 1 contender fight after that.
We talked very briefly about this before, but the last time I remember someone like this, it was Hamzat when we were in COVID.
Yeah.
And I mean, the COVID thing being quarantined, that played into how fast they let him fight. That's why I don't think Waldo will fight in December. But that's kind of the same thing.
Waldo's taking no damage on these last 2 fights. 0.
Dude, I don't know, man. That's 3. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm trying to think.
Hey, back in the day, they'd fight 3 or 4 times a night. Why can't he fight 3 times in a month?
Well, I mean, back in the day, you also had, starting pitchers in baseball that threw 7 innings. Now you don't even have that. So, and I said 7 innings, much less anything else.
Not Bob Gibson throwing complete games every time.
Oh, I saw a stat the other day, not to go too deep into it, but something like 15 or 20 years ago was the last time that Randy Johnson, being the last pitcher to ever do this, threw 100 strikes in a game, not 100 pitches, but 100 strikes in a game.
Well, people are soft now, including MMA fighters. You know,
But for real though, I mean, Cortez Acosta, remember that
he is not soft. His striking doesn't look good to me. It's not sloppy, but the dude has a very hard head apparently because he hasn't got hurt in 2 fights, and he hasn't really even got hit. And he's not just knocking guys out. Like Shamil Gaziev is not an easy out.
No,
and he put him to sleep.
Yeah,
with one punch.
Yes. So I mean, remember that.
Yeah, he flattened him.
The finishes of great fights just kept coming. You had, and we skipped over this a little bit, but the last part of the preliminary card, Luke Riley versus Bodden Grant, that was a second round TKO. Luke Riley, one of those English guys coming up, his record's starting to get there. Remember him too.
Yeah, that's one to look at.
So, but you're going knockout, rear naked choke, which is probably better than all the knockouts. Knockout, and now we're at, what are we looking at? Jack Hermanson getting knocked out again.
Yeah, and you picked the Joker to win that one.
I thought it would, man, but I definitely underestimated Mikadabik, however you say his name.
I know that Rollby, I think. Do you know he's a lawyer?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know it until that, but I did.
He said when he retires, he's going to practice his law career.
Kind of interesting.
But he said he wants to be a UFC champion first.
That's pretty cool. Him.
And he looked,
the dude's got some mental toughness.
Dude, he's jacked.
Yeah.
For a welterweight?
Yeah.
And he is, is he from Kazakhstan too or something like that?
Area, yeah.
Yeah, so he looked, and I was pulling for Jack Hermanson. I like the Joker. He's super, I don't even know where that is. Yeah, it's Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
So I was close. But he looked, Hermanson didn't have a chance.
No, right off. I mean, you could almost tell as soon as they engaged.
As soon as they started,
you could tell.
No chance.
Yeah, it was.
And if you can put Hermanson out like that.
He's getting older. He's 37. We talked about this last week a lot, but he's kind of the definition. We didn't use this term, but he's the definition of a gatekeeper.
Yeah, he's like Neil Magny. So, like if you can beat Neil Magny easy, then you're up to that level.
That's a really good comparison. Yeah. So I mean, you're looking at that division. We need someone to get up there to, to compete with Islam at some point. We're not there at that point now, but
that dude ain't far from it either. Because supposedly he's a really good grappler.
Yeah, the big one, we touched about this last week. We need to figure out what they're going to do with Shavkat. Like that, we need to figure out.
Yeah, he's got to figure out my ranks.
No, they don't have anything lined up for him.
I know he had a torn head of surgery on his knee.
Yeah,
he was at the card. I saw him there. I think he was cornering that Oralby or whatever.
Was he? Okay.
I don't remember. He was one of the guys earlier in the card. He was there in a cornering somebody though, so. He looked big and he didn't look out of shape, so he's obviously training. So
I mean, but that's one of the best divisions in all the entire sport right now. I mean, it's crazy. You got Ian Machado Berry, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Rachmanov. You got Carlos Freitas. You got Michael Morales. Holy moly! Kamal Usman, like we talked about. I mean, Leon Edwards, who I know they just lost, but
and then now you got
Sean Bray. I mean, damn, that division.
And now you got Oralby to throw in that.
Yes,
that dude. You're going to win like 4 or 5 fights to get even ranked in the top 15 in that division.
And like old school fights.
Yeah.
You're going to go through murderer's row of people.
Yeah.
Just going to get to cherry pick and get through easy wins.
No.
And really, the guys that we talked about are all well-rounded. It's not like, maybe with the exception of Bilal, but I mean, his striking looked pretty good this past weekend. They all can do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Bilal's barely top 10 now. He was just a champion not long ago.
The champion.
Yeah, JDM, they got that guy in there. I mean, that division's loaded.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
It's back to loaded, though. A lot heavyweight from this next fight.
I love it. Volkan's got to be the one, just jumping right into it. Sorry to interrupt you, Derek. He's got to get a shot. He's got to get a title shot or something very, very high after this. Well, Menefeld's not the top of the he's not the top, but everybody else in this division has already had a chance. That's my problem. It's stat. We talked about it.
Hey, Volkan's had a chance for the title before.
But he hasn't won it.
No.
So,
but you got Allberg.
Right now he's ranked 9. And I don't know if that's factoring in after.
No, it's not yet.
So, but
Osmont, that dude up there, I think he'll jump past Dominic Reyes. Because didn't Reyes just lose? Yes, he did.
I mean, Jamal Hill
will probably drop.
And Jamal Hill, I'd be okay with Jamal Hill, Volkan Ozdemir.
And the winner of that gets the number 1 contender.
Maybe even Khalil Roundtree, one of them.
I would like to see, actually, it would be cool to see Ozdemir and Khalil Roundtree. I think that'd be a good fight to make.
Saying that, though, immediately after kind of looking at the rankings, if I go the other way, yes, but you know what fight I want to see even more?
What's that?
2 guys coming off a loss, but Ankalaev versus Khalil Roundtree.
Ankalaev.
Yeah, I would like to see that fight.
You know, I think
Two guys coming off
yeah.
loss, but that'd be a way to solidify that top tier,
Yeah.
the top 5.
Is there a good way maybe we can get Ankalaev out of there?
Yeah, I don't know.
That boring son of a buck.
I don't know, man. He might be able to make that fight.
You know, he probably would, and his wrestling's really good, and he's a good boxer.
It's turned into a really good division. I mean, Alonzo Menifield's 14 now. He'll probably
And he's
out the top 15.
He is a giant light heavyweight too.
Yeah.
Like, giant.
Yes. I still remember him.
Striker. He's like, and he has a tough I don't know if I've ever seen him knocked out. He might have been knocked out before, but
I still remember seeing highlights of him playing football, man. He was a stud.
where he played football at?
Division 2. He played at Corpus, where was it? It was a community college, I believe.
Well, apparently I
He
like
was All-American, and then but then he ended up having a small career in Arena League.
So he does get knocked out apparently because he got the Ozamont, who's 16-0, knocked him out, and Carlos Ulberg also knocked him out. So the point being, if you're not a top level MMA fighter like world champion contender, you're not knocking out Menifield. But if you are that level, that's when you're knocking him out.
Yeah,
So that's a good point that Ozdemir is probably back at that level.
I think
Because Ozdemir looks sharp. I mean, his striking looked sharp.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he had any problems at all with Menifield. And you picked Menifield on that one. No, Scotty did. Scotty did.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and you picked Volkan. So, but Volkan, you know, he's been there, done that. He lost to Ulberg, but you know, he took Ulberg to a decision his last fight. He's knocked out Johnny Walker. He has submission wins. You know, he's lost. He loses occasionally, but he doesn't lose to guys unless your name's like Yuri Prohaska or Ankalaev. You know, he only loses the top guys, and his striking it looked better than ever. So maybe that's somebody. You know, maybe he's 2 or 3 fights away from getting a championship.
I think he's right in there. And you got him, Ozmat, and Carlos Ulberg. I think those are your 3 that like really, because they're all on the big win streaks. You got Carlos with 9. You know, Ozmat, he hasn't lost. He's at 16. And then you know Volkan. This is only a 1-fight win streak, but we're talking about he looks like he's at that.
Yes, and there's only fights he's lost have been against guys like Ankalaev and Ulberg. And
The problem with this division is going to be that it's going to just get held up. It's going to get held up at the very top.
which is sad because there's so many good fights. I think freaking as much as I like Pereira, he needs to drop that title if he's moving up.
Oh, I think so too.
So, because you remember back in the day, like Anderson Silva, right? He moved up to light heavyweight from middleweight, but he didn't relinquish his title because he fought 2 months later and defended his middleweight title.
Yeah.
You don't get stuff like that anymore.
No, once they move up in size, usually.
Like, yeah, I remember very rarely. Anderson Silva moved up 2 different times. I remember once against Stephan Bonner, once against James Irvin. And as soon as he'd win, like he was fighting again 2 months later, back defending his middleweight title.
What's crazy to me is, and we may not know that he's going to fight John Jones, or we may not know who he's going to fight, but I think that we know Pereira's next fight is not going to be a light heavyweight championship fight. It's going to be either John Jones or maybe a super fight against
Well, maybe not.
maybe Tom, or maybe he goes the other way, Hamzat, something of that nature. But like, it's not going to be he's going to fight the best up and coming light heavyweight.
You know,
He might. I agree. He needs to relinquish it.
I kind of miss them doing the super fights that are cool, but they hold up the division so much.
Oh yes.
I miss the days of just the number one contender getting to fight for a championship.
Yeah, me too.
That
Not having to worry about what's going to happen at the top, or who's
Yeah.
going to be there at the top, or
Yes.
of that nature.
you win fights to get title fights, and that's that's how it should work.
You win fights now to get bigger fights, and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily title fights. You know,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
title has lost its. It's not all about the title anymore. It's more about almost like the buy rate in a sense.
I blame Conor McGregor for this.
Yeah, I mean, he added all that into it, but they've always been prize fighters.
They've always been. They are, but it's turned into what boxing has turned into, or used to. What boxing used to, you'd get the best boxer fighting the best boxer for the championship regularly.
And
boxing-
boxing used to. You're talking about a bit ago.
Well, 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
the good days of boxing, 70s even, but and then you had the late 90s. I'd say late 90s, probably early 2000s to 2024, where boxing was falling apart because they couldn't make big fights hardly. Like you'd get some, like Joe Calzaghe, Roy Jones Jr., things like that, but you wouldn't. It was very rare to get a big fight. Because the number 1 guy would fight the number 8 guy.
Yeah, and they wouldn't fight.
Yeah, because that one would be an IBO champion or IBF, and one would be a WBA, and they wouldn't let their champions fight each other.
Yep.
So you're not getting the best guys fight. And boxing now has started realizing they don't make as much money as they used to, and they've started making bigger fights.
Yeah.
And I hope the UFC takes note of that, because and I hope people stop freaking watching when they do continue down this path.
Yeah.
Right now, it's still watchable and good, but pretty soon you're going to see that all the time. Where
I mean, there's stretches where it's not, though. There's stretches where it's 3 or 4 weeks where we're sitting here like, oh my gosh, all they're doing is just trying to get us to whatever we're getting to.
yeah, I mean, that's true. And there's a couple months like that.
That's really, I remember when we were I'm not trying to go deep into all this, but, we've talked about this briefly, but the cards used to be stacked.
Yes.
And really the reason they were stacked was not just because fighters were any different or there were any number of fighters. It was because they didn't have one every single week.
Yeah.
They used to have one, like they used to have 2 or 3, 4 a year. And then it kind of got to a normal pattern of once a month, which is I think a good thing.
Yes.
They're literally cards every single week.
And I'm okay with that on your free cards. Let's put the guys, and then let's build your pay-per-views,
The problem though is it just waters them down, because if you're going to go by rate and which they have to, because they have to sell ads, their business. I get that. You can't throw just a bunch of nobodies on the card and expect people to, much less buy a ticket, tune in.
Well, here's the deal. People's going to tune into the brand. Bellator's had some of the best fighters, won these different companies, PFL, IFL, Elite XC, Strikeforce. The list goes on and on and on and on. The United States, where these other companies should be, people should be tuning in just as much or more than UFC events, but they don't, because the name. Strikeforce and Elite XC and, IFL, they used to have some freaking, especially Strikeforce, but they had some freaking awesome fighters. WFA had a really good show.
Had some I remember really good fights too.
But I remember there was a pay-per-view. They did a one-night tournament, Shine, and they had some good fighters like Crazy Horse Bennett and Carlos. Freaking what's it? Anyway, they had a bunch of old UFC fighters.
Gotcha.
And a bunch of guys that were up and coming, and guys that were different organizations. One-night tournament pay-per-view. You think that would be like an MMA fan? You think would tune in and watch it because it was a fun show. And it was in Newkirk, Oklahoma, of all places.
That's kind of cool.
But so anyway, I remember watching it. Their pay-per-view buy rate was literally 7. They sold 7 pay-per-views. So people don't tune in to see the quality of fights as much. An average Joe,
Yeah.
the average person, they just see the UFC brand name they're going to watch because it's UFC.
Well, I agree with that, but I don't think that I think that even saying that, if the cards start to get so watered down to where you're not seeing people that they recognize or they want to, tune into, I don't think they're going to, the general fan, I don't think the general fan's going to tune in just to watch a fight.
No. It's really
We would, but I don't think the general,
I think they would at their home, sitting at home on a Saturday night, turn it on because it's there. They're not going to go out to Buffalo Wild Wings and drink beer with their buddies and do that kind of thing. But if you did one big pay-per-view a month, and 2 or 3 of these small cards filled with nobodies, they'd sit at home and watch those 2 or 3 at home on Paramount or wherever it'll be on, and then they can go to their buddy's house and drink beer and act stupid and
for the big one.
Yeah, and for the big shows.
They've fallen into a trap of having to get it all, and it does water down cards from time to time.
This one, and we'll keep talking.
It was pretty good. It was. So next we got I think should have probably been the main event of the card. I think both the main event and the co-main had some massive implications.
Yes.
He got it done, man. Ian Machado Gary beat Bilal Muhammad on a decision, unanimous. He had 30-27s on 2, 29-28 on another one.
I had it 29-28.
I had it 29-28 as well. I said before, this was a big fight for Gary, because he was kind of at a crossroads to where, they had strapped a rocket to his ass and were trying to push him to the moon.
Yeah.
And if he didn't continue to give something for fans to latch onto, he was going to fall into the wayside.
Well, this is what, that dude has, in the UFC, he hasn't had a finish since 2023 when he knocked out Daniel Rodriguez. He's fought good fighters, Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, Venom Page, Carlos Prates, Bilal Muhammad, and Shakhmov Rakhmonov. That's the who's who's list of welterweight. It is. But he has 0 finishes. I thought Venom Page beat him.
I did too.
And, of course, Rakhmonov beat him. And then he beat Carlos Prates, which is a good win, made the decision. And then he won this fight, which is a good win over a good name, former champion. I didn't think he looked very good.
He looked okay. He definitely, his promo after the fight was better than the way he looked in the fight. He gained more traction as far as being closer to fight a title because of the promo he gave than the performance.
Yeah.
So
Bilal Muhammad, his takedown defense looked good, but I didn't think Bilal's wrestling looked great.
And Bilal's really, to me, and we talked about this, he's really digressing.
He is.
He's kind of at a rapid rate after losing the title. But even before, I felt like once he got the title, I think he had 1 or 2 defenses.
Not just that was his next.
Just the one defense.
Yeah.
He didn't
really the same.
No.
And you see that in combat sports where all of a sudden, like,
it's different.
All of a sudden, it's like not the same guy.
You kind of just talked about it with the Poirier too. Once you get that champion, you get that championship money, your whole life changes. Sometimes that can affect someone to where they don't want to go to that extra level to have to get where they have to get.
Yeah, but Bilal's like, what, 38 years old?
He's getting older, and he fights a really rough style. And remember, he had a really long streak to where he had to win every fight and didn't get a chance.
He's had 30 plus MMA fights.
I don't know. Having said that, we're going to see Ian Machado Gary get some sort of big shot. I don't know if it's going to be a title shot, but I think he's going to get some sort of big shot. He looked okay with his striking. And I think that's, to me, because we assume his wrestling is going to be there because of his pedigree, obviously. His striking looked okay, but I mean, Bilal called him a couple times too.
Bilal threw the same punch over and over, and it landed more than it should have.
So
I don't know. Bilal's not a striker.
No. I was disappointed. I'm going to be honest.
I would say Gary's takedown defense, I thought that looked good, but like I said, Bilal's takedowns didn't look great to me.
And Bilal's more of a defensive wrestler than he is like actual takedown wrestler. I mean, he can take them down, obviously, but
he didn't look great. I was disappointed. Gary looked great.
I felt like it was an opportunity to, you come in there and, he's probably not ever going to get a submission on Bilal. That was a big deal.
That would be a big deal.
Let's say you get a knockout, and that can happen. And then you come out and throw that promo, you're going to you're done. At that point, you're ready. He's fighting Islam next, period.
I agree.
But with this, matched with everything else that he's done, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he's another fight or two away.
About how good that welterweight division is.
I mean, he did lose to Rachmanov, but Rachmanov hasn't fought since, so I don't know. But I don't think he deserves.
Would you pick Ian Machado Gary or Michael Morales right now, today?
If they fought?
Yeah.
I would probably pick Morales.
What about Carlos Paratas?
I would pick Gary because he just beat him.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Yeah, that's dumb. What about Sean Braden?
That's a tough one. Probably Gary.
What about tomorrow?
I'd pick Usman over Gary.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Usman can control his wrestling.
Yeah, I think Shavkat Rachmanov, Kamaru Usman, Morales. I might even pick Jack Della Maddalena over Gary.
I don't think I would do that. I don't know about
because his striking's good, and I don't think Gary. I've never seen. Is Gary a wrestler? I've never seen. He took down Michael Venom Page a little bit.
That's his background. It's posted.
He's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be top-notch wrestling.
Well, you say that, but like I've said
from Ireland.
Yeah, I've never seen it go there. Like I said about Tom Aspinall when we talked about, they talked about his top-notch wrestling. Like, never seen a good wrestler from, in the Olympics from Ireland.
He's not really from Ireland. He was born and raised there, and then I think really, really quick he actually went to Brazil. That's why it's Machado Gary. So he's Irish as far as like his blood, but I don't really think, because that was a bit of what it was. Part of what he tried to argue was, let's make it, Dagestan versus Ireland and go through that, basically trying to fall through the Conor Habib fight.
Yeah.
Start that all over again. But I mean, he's not really Irish. Anyway.
I don't know.
I think he spent more time in Brazil than he has anyway. I think he registers more in his mind, he's more Brazilian.
And I should like him more than I do.
Big old white Brazilian Ian Machado Gary. Yeah. I don't know. It was a chance, and he, he fell down. Bilal, who knows what's going to happen with him now? I mean, he's going to be maybe 7, 8 in the rankings, maybe even lower.
Yeah.
He will never get a title shot again. I don't see that ever happening again. No. He'll probably never even. I mean, he might not even be like a co-main event guy.
No. He's an opening card guy now.
Yeah, maybe, or like maybe even
main event of the prelims,
or like a main event of a fight night or something of that nature. I mean, he's kind of at the stage of his career to where it's going to be more about young guys getting matched up with him than anything else.
Yep, he's going to turn into Neil Magny and Jack Hansen.
A year ago was he champion?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Crazy.
Speaking of,
the card wasn't done.
Yeah, the card's been loaded to this point, and it's still not done.
Dude, Armand looked ferocious.
It's terrific. He didn't have a single bit of issue with Dan Hooker.
How wild was that reverse? That like 360, turned his body, which is crazy because you see him doing that drill.
That's the common deal wrestlers do, basically run around on their head.
Oh,
but he did it. I mean,
perfect.
Yeah. It's funny. He put himself in like the dragon sleeper, basically for a second. But I mean, I don't know why Dan Hooker was attempting. Maybe Dan Hooker gets him a lot because he's tall and lanky. But I'm not sure why he was trying for guillotines on him. To me, I thought he should have been worried about trying to get back to his feet because that's where Dan Hooker was going to win if he was going to win.
This seems like the guillotine, especially in MMA, is like the all-time panic. Like, oh, I would think it's here, no matter what my background really is. If I think it's here, I can get it. I'm just going to grab it and go for it. And then it's like, oh, shit.
Well, to be fair, I know some guys with really, really good guillotine chokes.
But not everybody.
No.
And you do see, like, when people have a chance in MMA, they really jump for it if they can try to get it.
Yeah. And Sorokin,
Dude, that turn, that counter, and then he just, I mean...
I think he beats Tapuria.
Didn't they just fight?
No.
They haven't fought. Correct.
They have not fought.
Scratch that. I wish we could delete that out of the podcast, right?
No.
You think he beats Tapuria?
I think he does. I know he lost to Gamrot, and Gamrot's good, but, I mean, he beat Charles Oliveira, Benel Dariush, Joaquim Silva. I mean, I don't know, that dude's wrestling so good. I don't know if Tapuria can stop him from taking him down.
I mean, that's definitely the fight I want next in that division.
And Sorokin, that dude.
I think Tapuria, obviously we're going to see him, Paddy Pimblett or Justin Gaethje yet. Yeah, have those been announced yet? I know there's a lot of chat about it. Has the Paddy Pimblett one been announced?
No, not yet.
Okay, I think that seems like what it's.
If it has.
So.
If it has, I haven't seen it.
I mean, yeah, he could fight Winner easily, so I wouldn't want Paddy to fight him for sure. Being a big fan of Paddy, I wouldn't want that.
What's out of this show? I mean, what was your biggest takeaway like from this whole card? Like what impressed you the most, and what was your biggest takeaway? Like something you saw that you like, man, that's awesome.
What impressed me the most was Armon.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest takeaway is Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Yeah, I agree. Those are both really good.
With Armon, I think he impressed the most. He pushed the furthest. He's got the biggest, like, green light, if you will, in his career moving forward because of this. But I think as far as, like, the one takeaway from the card, I think we might... Well, actually, I'll strive that. Let's say it this way. We might have a bunch of future stars that we just saw last year.
My biggest takeaway is we saw some guys
that
are going to be ranked and moving up for titles.
We might
before too long.
We'll put a pin on this one, and maybe in a year or 2 years come back and look at this card and kind of see we didn't know what we saw at the time we saw it.
Hey, I called it with the Chechen light heavyweight. So remember that. Everybody listen, remember that. I called it.
I love it.
So there was before we move on, we made picks again, and I'd like to point out I'm 4-0.
Good job.
Scotty went 3-1, and Law went 2-2.
2-2.
So hey, that's about par for you. You're right at 500. You're not bad, but you ain't good.
That's right.
We didn't make a bet though.
Nah.
Though you and Scotty still owe me.
We'll get there.
I just want to keep the fans knowing I've only missed like 3 picks. I should make an app.
You've actually since we started this, you have been picking pretty good.
I've been like spot on because I don't pick with my heart anymore.
We need to
brain.
Let's put some money in it. Side of Oklahoma to make sense.
Yes.
Dude, there was some boxing this weekend too.
I know we don't talk a lot of boxing on here.
I should start more.
I enjoy boxing.
Yeah.
David Benavidez, obviously, I don't know if anybody's familiar. He's 31-0 now. World champion. Dude has 25 knockouts.
You don't know who that is. Spend about 15-20 minutes at the bare minimum.
Yeah, he's a light heavyweight and super middleweight. I think he's super middleweight now. Maybe light heavyweight now. But that dude is unbelievable. He fought Anthony Yarde, who is in his own right a world champion. And I thought it was going to be a competitive fight. Like I thought, hey, this is maybe somebody now that can give Benavidez a hard time. And Benavidez did not have a hard time. And he won. It was light heavyweight championship fight. Benavidez did not have a hard time and stopped him in the 7th round. So Benavidez is a name if you're not a boxing fan or you're trying to get back into boxing. That's somebody to look up and go into depth to, because that dude's a star, and he's not a punk. He's not showboat. He just gets in there and shows how impressive he is every single time he fights. And on the same token, you had on Devin Haney, who's punk, a bit of a quote unquote from Law. No, he's undefeated, 33-0, man. No, well, he lost to Ryan Garcia.
Right.
But they got no contest because they said Garcia popped for steroids. Then I guess they changed it back and forth a few times, but I guess
it's a no contest.
It's officially a no contest now.
That was so good, man.
Ryan Garcia looked amazing.
It was good.
And I like Ryan Garcia. He's crazier than hell, though. But he fought Brian Norman Jr. Again, that's another guy. I believe Ryan was undefeated going to that fight, too. And, that was for the WBO welterweight championship. And I thought Norman would give him a hard time. And Norman did give him a hard time. I was hoping Norman would beat him. He carries himself better. He's a pretty respectful guy. He gets in there and just boxes. He's not a
Cantor, Georgia.
Yeah, he's not a showboat. He's just a boxer. And I thought Norman gave him a hard time.
Yeah.
And I think the scorecards were kind of all over the place. Like one judge had it like 114, 113. The others had it like 118, 112 and stuff like that. I thought it was a close fight. I had Devin Haney winning by a round or two.
And he won by unanimous decision.
Yeah, he won on all three scorecards, but the scorecards were all over the place. But I had Haney winning, but I thought it was only by a round or two because Norman started off well. Haney knocked him down in the second round. Then Devin Haney kind of took over for a little while. And then at the end of the fight, Norman turned it back on. So I don't know if that's Devin Haney's gas tank maybe was running low or Norman maybe just started stylistically figuring him out later in the fight. But that may be a fight you get to see ran back. I don't know. I don't know where Devin Haney moves on from there. But if you're into boxing or trying to get back into boxing, Devin Haney's another fun boxer.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely one of the guys to keep up with right now. Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't knock people out a lot, though. So if you want big knockouts, but if you want good, clean boxing that looks sharp and really and lands good shots, Devin Haney's your guy.
And that's really what boxing is about. I mean, I know people love to watch the big knockouts, and that's fun. We love that. But boxing's really about the sweet science of like picking and choosing, that kind of stuff. He's really, really good at that. So
yep.
Whether we like it or not, we're going to have to talk about some boxing, which we do. We like. Is it a sideshow or is it for real, man? Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua.
And they had a press conference.
I watched all of it. I was very interested in trying to see what it looked like.
Well, it blows my mind because, he literally went from the smallest boxer to the biggest boxer.
A guy that fights regularly at 135 to a guy that, is going to have to cut to be at 245.
So I know they're making some rules to help out.
245 is what Anthony Joshua has to weigh in the day of weigh-in.
Yeah.
There is no rehydration clause, so he can weigh whatever he wants the day of the fight.
So, but, when you dehydrate, your chin goes a little bit.
Yeah.
And Joshua already has a questionable chin. He's been knocked down a bunch. He's been knocked down a few times.
Yep. Anthony Ruiz. Yep. Happens.
Yes. And he's been knocked. I think his last fight he got knocked down. Anthony Joshua is a big, heavy puncher, was an Olympic.
They looked. And it's funny because we always go the other way, or, since we've kind of been this whole Jake Paul career, we talked most of the time the other way about how Jake always seems to be comically larger than everybody else. Dude, it's comical how much. And Jake played into it. He did the whole, he took 3, very aggressive stares before he moved and like popped his head up to show the difference. But there's not, Anthony Joshua is much bigger.
He's not just a big puncher.
No,
he is a good puncher. I mean, you've seen him when he starts in Ghana.
He's an Olympic medalist.
He is an Olympic gold medalist. He can box, but he gets hit. And he gets hit too much. He don't take punches well.
Jake Paul's going to be faster.
And Jake Paul's probably going to be faster than anybody he's fought in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope Jake Paul doesn't cause problems for him because I want to freaking cry if Jake Paul beats him.
Jake, whatever you want to say about him, he's to the point now that where he's a good boxer.
He is a good boxer.
You can't take that away from him.
You can't. Yeah, I've said that on the podcast. He's a good boxer, and he takes it seriously. He's not training for 2 months out of the year to have a fight with a YouTube star. He's a legit. He's taking on legit fighters.
Now he is.
Yeah, now, but
and 10-ounce gloves.
Yes,
8 3-minute rounds.
Yes, 8 3-minute rounds. 10-ounce gloves. But Anthony Joshua's only got 2 or 3 weeks to actually prepare for the fight?
Yeah, but supposedly he's already been training. And during the press conference, he said this past weekend was when he was supposed to have a fight, and it fell through. So he's been out for about a year and a half. I think it's going to be 13 or 14 months the day of the fight, somewhere right around there.
Yeah, he
said that was his plan. He said he planned on taking 12 months off, getting out of boxing to shut down. He said he was shutting down businesses, blah, 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 whatever. He looked in shape.
He always in shape. He's a big jack, dude. He's not your typical what you think of heavy.
No.
In boxing, like your heavyweights are they're big.
Roy Nelson.
Yeah, they're big guys like Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
Or they're big like, George Foreman, not just jack. They're just big guys. He is freaking jacked. He looks like a bodybuilder that can punch. So I just think with making him cut to 245, the dude probably took off 10 months of those 12.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know he's been boxing forever. I'm not saying Jake Paul beat him, but if this is the time Jake Paul can
can do.
It was smart of Jake. Jake Paul's a businessman. He's smart.
Well, he's got people around him that know what they're doing.
Yes.
They are very good at who they pick to fight.
Yes, and they picked a guy, a huge name, a probably top 5 heavyweight boxer, former world champion, Olympic champion. You know, at one point it was the best heavyweight boxer just a couple years ago. And this, if you pick this fight, 'cause if Jake Paul loses, oh well, he lost.
Who cares?
He lost to Anthony Joshua. They expected it. You know, he took a fight on changed opponents on short notice to get it prepared. If he wins, he beat Anthony Joshua, and now you have to take him seriously and give him
a title fight.
and give him serious fights.
So Anthony Joshua said in the press conference that he really didn't talk about his training but he said that he'd been training heavy for about the last 3 or 4 weeks, about the last month. He said he's training with Usyk's team.
Yeah.
He moved and left
Wednesday,
and he went to, and he's training with Usyk's team, not with Usyk. He said Usyk is somewhere else right now, but that he's training with his team, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that might help speed a little bit. He might have an opportunity to, I'm sure that, I mean, you can break that.
Them Ukrainians can box.
Yes, they can. And, Usyk can box like no other.
Yes.
So,
But
and he's little, Usyk's littler. So you got to think maybe they have.
Anthony Joshua's chin suspect. He hasn't fought in a year, and they're making him cut weight.
Here's my biggest worry. And, I think that's what we all worry about with Jake Paul. That's what we've always said is, are you going to take him serious? And then is he going to come in? Man, during the press conference, and Ariel Helwani, I give him props. He likes to push people. He was pushing pretty hard to try to get Anthony to talk about it. Anthony acknowledged, but didn't go into details, the fact that he has already got 2 fights basically scheduled in 2026 through the Sheik Turkish, His Excellency.
Yeah.
So already looking at those fights, you got to assume with it being Anthony Joshua backed by you're looking at big fights, maybe Tyson Fury, maybe something of that nature. I know, right? But I mean, could he overlook Jake Paul and then get caught with a right?
I'm concerned about. Yeah, is he overlooking him?
I mean, that's kind of what happened with Anthony Ruiz. He came to America. He wanted to make a name. Eddie Hearn wanted to bring him to America and make him the next big everything boxer. They thought he could beat this slow, fat Mexican boxer in America named Andy Ruiz. He didn't take the fight heavy, and he got knocked out.
Yeah, and Anthony Ruiz looked good. Anthony Ruiz is good, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. But if you look at him, he doesn't look kind of like you were just saying. He looks like an overweight, just heavyweight.
And he's not going to be as fast as Jake Paul.
No, Jake Paul will be much faster than Anthony Ruiz.
Yes.
Now, Anthony's going to be a lot stronger and have a lot.
But I was worried that Anthony Joshua went and took Francis Ngannou seriously, and he made Ngannou look like
real quick.
He made Ngannou look like he didn't even need to lace up gloves.
That's what I think it kind of sets up. And I think, because I agree with you, Jake Paul is a businessman. And I know that there is a whole lot of talk about him, champion. He wants to be a champion. I don't think he wants the Usyk smoke. I don't think he ever wants that.
No.
But what I do think this does is if he can match up, and not even like you said, if he can just look, if it's not a 15-second knockout or a first-round knockout, I think you've got a big money fight of him trying to fight Francis. I know that sounds crazy.
You know what, though? With Jake Paul, if he does win or does make it competitive, he may not want any Usyk smoke, as you said. But guess what? There's a cruiserweight division that he's probably more suited for at 190 pounds or less.
You're right.
And, that may be somewhere he makes a run, because I don't even know any cruiserweight boxers right now.
No, and he could maybe go in, and it's crazy that we're saying it.
That is,
but
yeah, I feel dirty even saying Jake Paul in World Championship in the same sentence.
Hey, I'm going to watch it, and it's free, quote unquote, on Netflix.
Yeah.
You have a subscription. What about the other? So the undercard, it was going to be Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman to, renew their rivalry, their broken leg rivalry. Can't break legs in boxing.
Hey, I broke the same leg. I feel you both there got the pain. I did the exact same break.
So Weidman's out hurt. Tyrone Woodley, man, that's pretty interesting.
Tyrone Woodley, Anthony, they're both their last fights were against Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And
I think that's both why they got this fight, too.
Anderson Silva against Jake Paul had some competitive moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if Anderson would have been more aggressive in that fight, he would have won. He was outboxing him. He just wasn't hardly ever punching.
Well, that's one of those that people really heavily talk about.
Yeah, like it was a fit.
That's like the Mike Tyson.
Yeah, well.
We don't want to go into that.
No.
Yeah. I don't want to get sued. Honestly.
I said this from start. Tyson fight wasn't a work. Tyson's 60. But Anderson's 50.
Yeah.
50 plus. So it ain't the same Spider Silva we used to see fight in 2005.
And we're not, and we're in and it's boxing.
And it's boxing.
You take away his legs, you take away his elbows.
Yeah, and so, but
Woodley back in the day, we were talking about this very briefly. He was one of my favorite.
his overhand right was nasty.
It was so fun, and he hurt people in fights.
And he fought Jake Paul.
He always had the craziest physique. He looked scary.
Yeah, he looks the part. He carries himself well too.
Yeah, he does.
He's not a Conor McGregor, so I always liked Tyron Woodley. Anderson Silva, I always liked him.
Oh, I mean, it's hard not. If you don't like Anderson Silva, you kind of got.
So I don't want to see either guy lose this fight, and I hope it's a competitive fight.
Yeah,
I want Anderson Silva to win just because he's Anderson Silva. But the last time we seen Tyron Woodley got starched
back to back.
But the first time he lost the decision, it was close.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
Yes, he got
last start. I'm saying he lost back to Jake.
Yeah, but he got knocked out cold as a wedge.
And he was
the second
out before he hit the mat.
Yes. And, his first hit of dude wipes ad was just sticking up in the air.
Yeah. Who do you think, we'll talk about this more in depth when it gets closer. I think that might even be next week, honestly, because it's like the 13th, I think.
The card.
Who are you leaning towards with Woodley and Silva right now? Let's not talk anywhere near about the Paul. We'll save that for later. Who are you leaning towards with Silva and Woodley?
Silva.
Do you have a reason why? You just think... And the reason I say that, I think Silva's link's going to play a really...
Silva's a better boxer.
Yeah. I think his link, I don't think we'll see a knockout.
No.
But I think we'll see
a 4-round decision win for him.
Unanimous decision.
Yeah.
He'll win everything.
Tyron Woodley, his one kickback he's always had, he's not been aggressive enough throwing punches.
Yeah.
When he should be throwing more, he's just real tentative with them, and I don't know why with the power he carries. But
that's why everybody was so mad in both Jake Paul fights, because they thought if he would have been aggressive, he could have landed one of those overhand rights.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he waited to
but out. And boxing's totally different than MMA.
Yeah.
And Tyron Woodley had never boxed before that. And in MMA, his overhand right was so good because he was a really good wrestler.
Yeah. And had to guard for it.
So you had to worry about it. You had a lower stance to defend takedowns. You're worried about takedowns. So when you do fake shots, the overhand right, you're open for it when your hands drop to defend the shot. So I'm not sure his boxing, his punching translates to from MMA to boxing. So I will take Silva.
Yeah, I think
Silva's 87 years old, so I could be wrong.
They're both up there, man. I mean,
Tyron Woodley's only 43. I'll say only.
What's Silva's probably what?
He's 50.
Well, they're still both up there.
Yeah.
When you get to that age, that 7 years, it probably does make a big difference. But
yes.
I would pick Silva too. I think he has more weapons at his disposal. I think he has more guns that he can use.
Yeah.
Kind of to move forward.
Scotty, who do you got? That's right. He banned us again.
He doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't show.
Scotty doesn't show.
Thank you, Catch Wrestler. Before we move on to the recent news, we were going to do a game if Scotty doesn't know again. We'll scratch that because Scotty doesn't show, like we said. But before we move on to that, let's read a quick ad from our sponsor.
Yeah.
M3 Guns and Tactical, 9 North Main in Bing.
Speaking of
306 North Main in Bing, it is great shop ran by two great guys. Personal orders. If they don't have what you already need, they have gunsmithing by appointment. And basically anything you want, they'll be able to get it. They do things right. They're fair priced. Great guys. Tell them Scrap Talk sent you.
It's that time of year. Everyone's deer hunting. Everyone's going out to do anything. I'm sure everybody needs something done, some kind of repair done. Maybe even you need some new accessory. Hit them up. Tell them Scrap Talk sent you. I'm sure they'll take care.
See what it gets you.
Speaking of Francis, I guess he likes to beat up people. Obviously, he likes to beat up people.
Yeah.
So did you see the stuff with Dana White?
I did.
I think Dana was on what podcast? Andrew Schultz. I think it was the Andrew Schultz podcast. I'm not a big Schultzy fan, but
I think our podcast is better, but whatever.
It's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't get the same numbers, but that doesn't mean
it. Hey, our numbers aren't bad.
They're not Schultzy numbers.
No, they're not bad.
So he was talking, kind of just giving general talks, opened up a little bit, said that at the very end of when Francis was still involved with the UFC, when they were kind of talking, honestly, this was probably when they were going heavy into his fight with John Jones and trying to get that scheduled. I guess something kind of went south, and from Dana's point of view, Dana said, he basically said, we're done with this conversation. We're not going anywhere. This is ended. Turned to walk away, into his office. Francis basically grabbed him by the shoulder, pulled him back, and said, we're done talking when I say we're done talking.
And he told him, you are going to get me a
Yep.
Fly to Paris after I win this title.
Yep. And then supposedly also did the exact same thing as far as grabbing and physically assaulting, because that's what it is. Sean Shelby, the matchmaker for UFC as well, too. You know what's interesting about this to me? We haven't heard anything from Francis.
You know what's interesting?
That means it happened.
You think so?
Why else, if it didn't happen, why would he not, or his team not immediately come out and deny it?
Oh,
The only reason is because it did happen and there's nothing to say to help his PR.
I don't know if it actually did. Well, why would they just now say it? Why wouldn't they bring that up when they cut him? Why would you wait years
Why would you, though?
and let him have big fights and all this? And why, if you're going to bring it up, why bring it up now?
I mean, yeah, that is, they are vindictive, but that would be even more vindictive, I think, to say it when you do cut him or at the point of when he does have a fight coming up.
Yeah. Or
I
why?
think it's water under the spill. What is the whole water?
Dana said he wanted to cut him then.
Huh?
Dana said he wanted to cut him then and talked about how he sucks and blah, blah,
He did
blah.
say, talk about he sucks, and he doesn't suck. I mean,
No.
he was your UFC.
So Dana White, I don't like Dana White, but if you're not currently in the UFC or one of his boys, you're trash to him.
I mean, he's a promoter. That's
Yeah.
not what he has to do.
But, like Tito Ortiz and him were friends for years, and Tito, bless his heart, says some dumb stuff, but Tito carried the company for years.
Oh, what? Hands down.
Tito seems like a genuinely a good guy.
Yeah, he seems like his head's in the right place as far as he seems genuine. I mean,
Yeah.
he does seem like maybe he's not the most intelligent person
Yeah.
in the world.
But he seems like a genuine dude. And Dana just trashes him all the time. And,
Never fought him. Always thought, always tried.
remember that boxing match they're supposed to have? Dana knew that Tito never agreed to fight with him. Never
set him up.
Never signed They made a whole special about it on Spot TV and had Dana have weigh-ins, and they acted like shocked that Tito didn't show up to him just to make Tito look bad.
That's all it was.
But Dana does that. He did it with Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor's trash and blah, blah, blah. And, Randy Couture's trash. And
Yeah.
and everybody,
This day with Randy Couture.
yeah, everybody, Francis Ngannou now. Before that, Francis was the greatest fighter ever. If you're not helping Dana White out, get more financially set than he already is, then you're a piece of trash to him.
I agree with all that. I just think it's very suspicious that Francis's team hasn't come out and at least addressed it somehow. Especially with the beef that they had, because they did go back and forth.
I don't know that he benefits from even saying anything about it, whether he did or didn't do it.
Oh man, I think I don't know. Benefit's a really tough word, especially when you're talking about someone like a prize fighter, because at that point, it doesn't benefit Francis for you to think that he's a good guy. It just benefits Francis for you to know who he is and want to watch him fight.
Yes.
So in that aspect, I do understand what you're saying. I agree in that he might not get a benefit in clearing his name, but I think if his PR team gets out there and says something, his name just gets out there, and that's going to increase his value.
That dude's already got all the value he needs.
I mean, you can always have him.
And he wanted to fight for the UFC title again at
We did just sit here and talk about the fact that his last fight that he had, he got flatlined.
No, he didn't. He won a MMA fight after that in PFL.
Did he have an MMA fight after the draw for that?
And he won.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he won by knockout against whoever won their heavyweight championship.
It was the big,
Yeah, huge Brazilian dude.
yeah, who's like massive.
Yeah, I'm so
right.
terrible. I can't remember anybody's names.
I'm worse than you. I even forgot that fight. But I don't know. Who knows if it happened? I will say this. I feel like if something like that was to happen, you'd probably see physical signs on Dana from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, well, when we were talking about Jake Paul's undercard earlier, I meant to bring this up. Did you see Paulo Costa, what he posted on Twitter or whatever?
I didn't. What did he post?
He said that he posted a deal saying that, I don't know why I said Jake Paul, I'm stupid. He wanted to fight on undercard. I'm an idiot. But anyway, he wanted to fight RDR.
Yeah.
Or De Ritter. And it just said,
Costa wanted?
yeah, it said the loser is gay.
Well, what if he loses?
I guess he's gay. And the reason I must have thought about Jake Paul, because the gay comment in it, maybe that's why I thought he wanted to be on that undercard. That's funny. But no, I thought that was hilarious. I would love to see Paulo Costa and RDR fight.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm a big Paulo Costa fan. I mean,
especially if he turns out to be gay.
He says this. He says the stupid. Remember that? Excuse the language, everybody, but remember how for like a whole year, his persona that he went by was the king of bitches?
Yeah.
Like that was his online persona. That's what he called him. Like,
he
ever since Izzy did what Izzy did to him, he hasn't been the same. But he's still fun.
Well, he said he said he showed up like drunk to weigh-ins or something to that. I don't know if that's true.
No.
But that dude talks crazy. You don't know what he's. But yeah, the
All-time body.
You know,
The all-time best bodied up. Like he is, talk about Tyron Woodley and having a physique to be scary. Man, Costa's scary.
speaking of gay, how long?
Remember, what?
I'm done laughing. Go ahead.
You're good. Dude, did you see, so other news that we kind of got, there was an outside card just this last weekend. I think it was Saturday night as well, too. Did you see our man Gable Steveson?
Gable Steveson.
So
Holy crap.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We told everybody, you need to remember this guy. You need to look this guy up if you don't know who he is. Obviously, he has a very unique background.
Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, Minnesota wrestler. Basically broke all the records that Brock Lesnar had at Minnesota. Signed with the WWE. Worked with WWE for like maybe 6 months to 7 months. Went out of that. Had a couple of fights. I think he had an amateur boxing match.
No.
I think he did it like right after the WWE.
Okay.
And then he kind of went back into training. And now this is his second.
So he had a professional MMA fight, and then just a month ago he had a hybrid match. Like it was like the bare knuckle MMA match. So don't count as an MMA record.
Okay.
But he won, and then that's when he literally just 2 feet leapfrogged over the freaking ropes.
Crazy.
And it shows his athletic ability. He is a heavyweight. For those that don't know him, like, holy crap.
He's one of the most athletic heavyweights.
For sure that we have today. But so athletic. Granted, he fought a guy that's 2-1, and a guy with his pedigree, he probably should be fighting somebody better than that.
He kind of a can.
But he throws a overhand left.
That's the craziest thing.
It was a fast overhand left. It wasn't like a telegraph slow. It was a fast, and he put the guy to sleep. But he's so fast, before the guy hit the ground, was shooting a double leg and took the guy down while the guy was already locked up, like knocked out.
Oh, he was out. As soon as the punch landed, he was out.
Yeah.
And you're right. He is so fast in his takedowns that he actually took him down before he ended up falling down.
Yes.
Like, it was crazy. And, you know, I love how you say his overhand right, it was fast, it was sharp. You're right. We talk about someone who has such a high pedigree. We just talked about Bilal. We just talked about Machado Gary, how their pedigrees, as far as like being able to do other things other than boxing, other than standing up. That punch looked like someone whose pedigree is in the stand-up game.
It did.
Not in the wrestling.
Yeah, and it was 20 seconds a long fight. 20 seconds.
Got to get him in the UFC.
I mean, dude, now with him, do he needs to fight against a guy that's like 7-1?
But him, and if you want to make, you know, we talk about Dana White contenders. He's going to be, you'll see, right at the very beginning of the year, he's going to be in the Dana White Contender Series. And then I'm telling you, this is going to sound crazy, but he is a prime example of an early prelim at the White House card.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not.
It doesn't really matter who you put him up against. It doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be against a number 4. Just throw him in there as the American. Make him open the damn card if you want.
With his pedigree, that guy's 2 wins away in the UFC from getting a title fight.
He'll run rampant through it.
Dude, okay. He's Costa Cortez, who's a top 5 fighter. What would Gable Steveson do to him? I think Gable Steveson would beat him now, like today.
I do too. I think he would, at the very least, he would take him down and be able to control him and win a fight, period.
Yeah.
And I think he might be able to knock him out.
Yes. And I don't think
After that punch, that's crazy.
I don't know how he reacts to getting punched.
Well, yes, that's true. We've never seen a true heavyweight put his hand on his chin. But other than that, I mean, Tom Aspinall. I don't see how Tom Aspinall right now beats that.
No, Gable Steveson takes him down all day long.
Immediately.
Yeah.
The only person and I know we're jumping, I mean, it's John Jones, and I'm almost to the point to where
Gable Steveson would beat John.
And they train together, but like, I don't know who's going to beat him other than himself.
You know, if he takes MMA seriously,
Pereira, just take down.
No, exactly.
I mean,
as long as he takes MMA seriously, the world is his.
I mean,
he is a little bit older for a guy.
He's not 18 or 9, but he's still like 25, 26, isn't he?
Yeah, I know he came back to college and wrestled another year, even after being a pro wrestler and an Olympic gold medalist, which is super weird to me.
It's super weird because he technically wouldn't be an amateur at that point.
I guess he said in 18 months he'll be a UFC champion is what he said.
And see that?
Yes. And he's 25 years old.
That's still pretty young.
That's still, yeah, he's got 10 years left.
He won't even be full, like, he's a heavyweight, so he won't even be fully into his body until he's like 30, 32.
Yeah, 32 is like, they used to say that. It was the prime age.
So, like,
After that, you start dipping down, but like 29 to 32 is your
dude, I just don't think. I mean, if I'm Tom Aspinall, I get that title and I go fight as many fights as I can here in the next 2 years because he's coming, man. And there's no one that's going to be able to do anything about that.
No?
And if his striking is what it looked like this weekend, we're talking at that point about not just him being a run and he's going to be the heavyweight champion. He's got the skills to be one of the greatest.
He's a problem.
Oh, more than that.
Yes.
Because and I know everybody's hearing us and we're basically just, waxing over him. You can't understand how athletic he is until you actually see it.
The dude is 265 pounds and not even leapfrog, didn't put his hands, literally just 2 feet and jumped over the top of a rope in a boxing ring.
I would love to know what his vertical box jump is. I bet he could jump out of the freaking roof.
Though he did get beat his last collegiate wrestling match. We need to point that out.
That is true. That is true.
Go Pokes.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of Go Pokes, they've been just destroying it lately here. I think they ran ref. They had a big tournament that they played 2 weekends ago up in Tulsa, and they ran rep shopping over everyone. Their division, they're doing really well. OU's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, OU wrestling is rolling down.
They got beat something like they had 2 or 3 weeks ago. They had Penn State come in and it was like 47-0.
They literally swept them every match,
and they got pins on every match.
Oh, they really pins every match. Oof.
So it was not good.
No, and
it was the same weekend. They had that card in Norman on Friday night, and then there was literally it was a who's who, and they've done that now.
Oklahoma State has a chance to win a national championship this year.
I think Penn State's so good.
No, Penn State's they're head and shoulders. I think it's Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Iowa. They're the outside looking at. I think Nebraska, I think that they have the most ranked guys, so maybe they can give.
Is Nebraska where and I know we're kind of talking out of pocket here, but the heavyweight Ferreira who got in so much trouble at Oklahoma State. Do you know anything about all that?
I do remember that. No, I think so.
I think he's in Nebraska now.
Yeah, I think so.
That kid's good.
Yes.
Speaking of pieces of shit, but that kid's good.
Speaking of pieces of shit, Jeet Kune Joe. I'm just kidding. I love you, Joe.
Pull the curtain back. I legitimately thought Derek was going to say something about Scotty right then, so I'm completely shocked at this.
I'm just kidding. I just thought it was funny to say. I was trying to make a transition and it made me laugh. Jeet Kune Joe, hilarious. Just because you hate law so much, keep it up. He had two emails to us. The first question, yeah.
Did we get anything from Gary?
Just hold on.
Oh, yes.
So, speaking of pieces of shit, Gary.
You said that, not me. I want cookies that don't kill me.
So, Jeet Kune Joe, he said, this question's for Law. Well, it was Scotty too, but he's not here. Who was the first female fighter inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame?
Oh, are you asking me this question legitimately? And
Yes.
I don't have anything in my hand. I can't look it up, so I'm not stalling. Who was the first or the last? What'd you say?
The first female fighter inducted in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Wow. I mean, I think I would say Ronda.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's right.
It is. It's it.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Is there any other?
It has to, but the reason I didn't think that it needs to be Ronda as far as history and to show, but her relationship with them is so bad. That I don't know anything about the Hall of Fame on it.
The second question, the fastest knockout in UFC history.
Oh, wasn't it Ben Askren getting knocked out by Jorge Masvidal?
Yes. And how long?
4 seconds?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Okay.
So
Crazy knee.
See, Jeet Kune Joe, Law's not an idiot all the time.
Hey, and I appreciate you. Anytime we can talk about it, Ben Askren, that's a good one, man. He's up and running on
He's doing great.
Aerodon bikes. He's racing stuff. Dude,
With one lung.
after a transplant.
Yeah, that's not him. So good job. The next part,
Proud of myself. I got those right.
part 2 of the question.
Let us know. We don't want to talk about Scotty.
Well, we don't. I think you know some of the time. Scotty would have no clue on either of those. In fact, Scotty not answering since he's not here is better than the answer he probably would have give.
Well, and we also, pulling the curtain back again, we asked him very clearly to send us his top 5 welterweights of all time.
And he ignored it.
So Scotty doesn't know those either.
Scotty just ignores. For those that don't know, Scotty will say, I didn't see that in the text. That's because he doesn't read our text. That's what I've determined. That dude, he responds once a week.
Or when he does respond to us, it's about how he has a love affair for Dustin Poirier and just wants Dustin Poirier to do nothing. He just wants, that's all he wants is DP all the time.
He does. That is awesome. Well played, Law. Back to Jeet Kune Joe. Speaking of bullies, this is Law's bullying. This is Jeet Kune Joe said, was the Bing Gangsta an OG playground bully? Or duh OG playground bully?
Oh my gosh.
I have noticed he dominates the conversations and interrupts the other two analysts. Word on the street is he was a bully in the 3rd grade.
So, yes, that is, again, that is a horrible personality trait that I have, in that I do dominate conversations, or I try to. I don't try to intentionally, but it just happens.
So,
but as far as a bully, I think you can vouch for this. I was the exact opposite.
so
I was the one that got bullied all the time.
I will say a few things. We've known each other literally our whole lives.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, we started preschool together.
Yeah.
So I will say Jeet Kune Joe, Law was not a bully, but yes, he dominates conversations.
All the time.
And he always has. And it's funny because I don't even notice it anymore. But, you know, I know your wife stepped in a few times, like whenever like we're talking here at the house, like when we're watching fights, and like she'll like just tell you to shut up, you know. So
I don't mean harm by it. I genuinely don't mean harm by it. I love free conversations. I don't like when someone interrupts me. I don't take it personally in a conversation. So like, that's how I've always, I know that's wrong. I've tried to work on that my whole life.
and
It affects it affects my career a little bit, I would say.
So he's and Jeet Kune Joe. I know he comes off like a bully, but you know, and occasionally he bullies because that's just his personality. Like he's mean to Scotty for no reason. But overall, when he was a kid, he wasn't a bully. He turned into that later in life. The next part, they had a 3-part question for each analyst from Jeet Kune Joe.
I'll answer for Scotty.
They asked me what my favorite takedown technique is, and I back in my judo career, I did a drop down sanagi very, very well. I probably won 100 judo matches with that throw alone. And when I would go back to like grappling, even recently, I'd be going against guys that grapple every day, and I would hit the same throw on them 5 times in a row, and they had no idea how to stop it ever. And that is my bread and butter. And anybody that knows me knows that is my throw. Like I'd go to tournaments back when, and everybody knew exactly what I was going to do. And yet if I didn't get it the first time, I might get it the second or third time I tried it, but I would win matches. Giddy Ponce's chop down sanagi, which is a shoulder throw.
Ooh,
so,
love it.
Scotty, what is your favorite escape technique?
Poking someone in the eyes.
You think I could see Scotty doing that?
I could see that.
He's got the
hands too.
fingers.
Like, or say it again. Let's set it up again we'll role play. Say it again. I'm going to be Scotty.
All right. Hey, Scotty, what is your favorite escape technique?
Tapping out.
Back to bullying Scotty. This question is for the Bing Gangsta. What temperature do you bake a chocolate pie, and for how long?
Hey now. I'm sure this has some kind of reflection on the picture that I put on my personal Facebook a couple of days ago about, you say you won hundreds of judo matches from that throw.
Probably 100.
I could win hundreds of baking competitions from that pie. And you could put that in like pictures.
Gary is going to be so happy to hear that.
Oh, Gary should be so upset because he realizes the level that his cookies have to get to because of my palate with my own cooking, the level that he has to. Look, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's all about Oklahoma cooking right now. That's all the world. We've got Kevin Lee, who just in Tournament of Champions on Food Network, he just took down the Spice Queen this last week. Let's go Oklahoma right now.
It just sounded very gay again.
Very, very wifely. I felt.
Yeah. If I didn't know better, I thought you'd be married to a dude right now.
I mean, maybe. I am literally cooking the entire Thanksgiving dinner for the entire family from scratch.
That is impressive. Wait, next, speaking of your baking, we have an email from our old pal, your pal, Gary Miller.
He doesn't like y'all.
He doesn't dislike us. He just loves you. It says, Happy Thanksgiving, Law, Derek, and Scotty. And he again spells my name wrong. He has yet to get that correct.
Eventually it'll be right.
As Thanksgiving approaches, I find myself reflecting on the past year. The best thing last year has been me finding your podcast. I used to be the biggest UFC fan, but in the last 15 years, I had to quit watching altogether. Law, in particular, revived my interest in MMA. I wish he could be a commentator for the fights. I had quit training in the martial arts and started cooking sweets all the time. I was very successful and won many awards for cooking. I had a yellow belt in karate, and I just started a home study of judo and Japanese jujitsu.
Home study of jujitsu.
Not jujitsu, jujitsu. My cooking talents outweigh my martial arts. But now listening to Scrap Talk, I'm going to get back into martial arts. Law, I want to challenge you to start a martial art as well. It can be
a martial art.
it is so fulfilling to train the body and mind at the same time. Plus, the costumes are really nifty.
The costumes.
Sometimes I feel like. Sometimes I feel like a samurai ninja. You can leave that part out if you read this, Law. Giggle.
Does it say giggle? Oh, great. Hey, in all seriousness, though, starting about, I'm thinking really hard about putting my son in something, like really, really hard, either wrestling or some kind of jiu-jitsu. I'm thinking is the two.
We'll discuss that after, but I gotta continue with Gary said.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Taking over the conversation, sorry.
Law, will you train for a year and keep everyone up to date on your progress? Maybe I can mentor you and we can FaceTime on Saturdays. I could motivate you and you can rehash what you learned in class. If your chosen art does kata, you can perform or practice your kata for me on FaceTime. And maybe you could chronicle your journey on social media.
Well, Gary would like that, but I don't know that there's going to be too many other people in the world that want to see a 38-year-old out of shape. Out of shape with a bad back and bag legs person start a martial art.
Oh, well, finish the last part of the email. Good news! Exclamation mark. My oven has been fixed and I'm making you boys. Plus Law's basketball team some of my cookies.
Nice. We lost again. They don't get cookies.
The repairman was nice, so I'm making him some as well. They probably won't be there before Thanksgiving, but you might just be tired of pecan pie and need to pick me up with Gary's moist cookies by the weekend. Law, if you tell me the year you were born, I will find a penny that was minted in that year and send it to you since you remind me of Abraham Lincoln. A sincere thank you to Law for the partial deep dive, but could you please devote a whole show to each of you? Kind regards, respect, and admiration, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Gary, I just told you I'm 38 years old. Do the math. You can figure it out.
He was born in 87, Gary.
There you go, 87.
And I don't remember his exact birthday, but I know it's in September.
Well, since Derek, we have known each other forever and, right.
So, Gary, if you need any more information, I'll do my best to provide it. And before we end the show, it's time for the fans' favorite part, the Catch Wrestling Corner with a Catch Wrestling Gracie Hunter.
Hear it.
I haven't listened to it yet, so again, I hope it's appropriate.
Language warning just in case.
Well, here we are again. This week's episode of Catch Wrestling Corner, it is Thanksgiving. This week's episode is sponsored by Gary's Moist Cookies. Eat one, eat two, wind up unconscious. Law, don't eat them cookies. He's trying to kidnap you. I've seen this in the movies before. Them Taken movies with that one feller. They did this all the time. Eat cookies. Moving on. This week, let's talk about what we're thankful for. I am thankful for people that have passed on Catch Wrestling. Carl Gotch, Eric Paulson, Matt Hume. These are just to name a few. I'll even throw the Gracies a bone. I am thankful for the Gracies for mainstreaming MMA in the United States. It had gone by the wayside, and we needed them, and they brought it to us. So, Gracie's, although I prefer the cage wrestling, I tip my hat to you. Now, for this week's advertisement, it's M3 Guns and Tactical. I don't really know where they're at. You're going to have to find them. But you go in there, and you tell them the Catch Wrestling Corner you heard about them. They may or may not give you a discount. I don't know. They might give you a Black Friday discount that they were giving anyway. But it's not going to hurt to go down to M3 Guns and Tactical, wherever they're located at, in Maine, wherever that's at, and tell them, Catch Wrestling Corner, see if you can get a discount. I don't know. Moving on. Law, Scotty, and Derek. I am thankful that you guys were so desperate that you reached out to me and realized that you put me on the podcast to make the podcast. I am glad that you guys, I don't know which one of you, or if it was all three of you, had the brains to reach out to me and say, help us get out of this. We're at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, the worst podcast in America. Probably the galaxy. And so, I have partnered with y'all, I have mentored y'all, and I am thankful that the podcast is on the rise. I'm even more thankful that y'all just keep making me look good on here. Like, I don't even have to do anything really. Just give my comments, my opinions, and keep y'all in line like Scotty doesn't show. Just take my advice, boys. We're going to go into 2026. We're going to crush podcasts around the world. But most importantly, I am thankful to our listeners. Y'all just to keep listening, keep sharing, give us some 5-star reviews. And listen, start sending me some fan mail and I'll read it on my podcast. Just send it in and I'll read it on this part of it. Until next time.
Well, look, I feel like we've been taking over a little bit.
I like how he says our podcast.
He said his at the end.
Did say his. I will say, I'm glad we dedicate. I hope he keeps emailing in every week because I enjoy his emails to play for everybody. And he's right, Law. Don't eat Gary's cookies. I wouldn't suggest it. Gary wants to cut your skin off and wear it, I'm pretty sure.
Never said that.
He has not said that, but he's implied it, I feel like. I want to give Catch Wrestling Gracie Hunter there some props because he knew the name Matt Hume, and that's Matt the Wizard Hume's a name I haven't heard of in a long time. So good on him. He knows his stuff. So
The very first part that he was actually saying, other than the, joke part and all that stuff, it was legit. It was real.
yeah, he knows his business. So
Good stuff.
So Catch Wrestler, keep sending us in. We appreciate it.
Guys, have a great Thanksgiving. It's, if not the best holiday of the year, it's the second best holiday of the year, in my opinion. Go have fun. Find your friends. Find whoever those people are, whether that's friends, family, whoever it is. Have fun with them. Eat a bunch of food. Get fat. Get lazy. Take some time. Relax the best that you can. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, and we will catch you next week.
We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
That is it for this round of Scrap Talk. We will catch you next time. If you want to help 3 losers out, follow, share, and follow us on all forms of social media at Scrap Talk Pod.